Portland in Oregon is a place I've lived for the past 16 years. I think I was 11 the first time I came here. And I remember we came out to Oregon, to Portland, on a church choir tour. And I don't remember much about it, but I do remember this incredible feeling of green everywhere. The territory is the result of a commission that I received from Chamber Music America to create a new jazz work for an ensemble. And I was really excited about the possibility of exploring the connection of music and place. Oregon, the Willamette Valley, the Cascade Watershed is this incredibly plentiful place. So what's interesting to me is not just this question of how does the land affect the people, but how do the people affect the land? Living in a place, like years and years of people living in a certain way in a place, like what does that leave in the ground? Thinking about unique places in Oregon, I mean, could I write a song about Mount Hood? Not really. I mean, it'd be great. I mean, Mount Hood is the sort of the iconic place here. But I thought, well, are there other, iconic places? I think it was Bill Lang telling me that there was this place out in the middle of Oregon that was this sort of rock formation, and it looked like a fort. It's around if you look at it from the top. It looks like something was from outer space. It was just pushed up from the ground. But what's interesting about that is that that was one of the earliest known places of human habitation in the whole territory. I mean, it's thousands and thousands of years old. I didn't want to be culturally appropriating. I wanted to figure out a way to write something that really felt like it was mine, that used this, but it didn't, I wasn't just like using cliches. I'm in the great pleasure of working with this wonderful vocalist, Nola Bogle. She's a wonderful jazz singer, and she's got this amazing connection to the jazz community, but also her own story is very interesting, and I remember her telling me that when she was 4, she was at the internment camp.
I do remember Minidoka. It was a very barren place. There was barbed wire around the whole camp. There were men with guns at every corner. For me, and I think for some of the Japanese people, it's a place we really don't want to revisit.
Many people, non-Indian people, who wanted to make any Indian who surrendered into a hero as a model for how all Indians should behave. Those who led toward that path were heroic, and those who did it in battle were even more heroic. Chief Joseph becomes the single most heroic Indian in the late 19th century. He was never a military leader. He never pretended to be, and he was reluctant to take on a military once it was forced on him. The fiction that Joseph was a Red Napoleon, that he was a brilliant military tactician, it's quite alive. The divisions in the Nez Perce tribe today that are political and familial, many of them date to this event.
you go to the coast, right? And then you go to the Wallowas. That's very different. I mean, it's kind of an accident of fate that all of that belongs to the same state. But the fact is that what we called Oregon for, 150 years is the collective memory of all that. It's here. It's here as much as Mount Hood is here. Whether it's, truth or fiction, all the stories about Oregon, we have a connection to the place that we live. And that means something.